Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on the Mic with Mike. It is the premier business radio program in the area. I'm host Mike King. I appreciate you being here with us. The views expressed here are mine. I have no connection to support of agreement with any other host, information, or ads at the station. I don't work for the station. My program just airs on these stations to be able to bring these game-changing folks to you. So join me as our cutting-edge show. We uplift the community and showcase RVA in a different way. You can follow me as Mike King Biz Radio on ESPN Richmond 106.1, The Choice 105.3, every day from 2 to 3, as well as International Business Growth Radio. Like you said, we're like LeBron. We took our talents overseas and across the world to talk about all the great things that are happening. This is a new segment. We're coming to you from Bryant and Stratton College. This is sort of the College of Chesterfield. Now, everybody knows about Bryant and Stratton. We're here on the campus. You know what we do. We talk to the game changers out there. So welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you. Thanks.
Alrighty, so now I always say this is a business show. Tell us who you are and what you do.
My name is Rayford Grady. I'm the Director of Admissions for Bryant and Stratton College.
That's it?
That's it. That's what I do.
That's what you do.
That's what I do. That's who I am.
That's who you are. So you're the person who gets the folks in the door. You explain the process, because before we got started, we always say people were, we got to get dressed up to see the admissions office. You kind of get suited and booted. We're going to go here and we're going to talk. You see the person at their most nervous point, because a lot of times these are people. So I'll give you a bit of a background. My mom went and got a master's from Temple, but she started at Community College of Philadelphia.
Okay.
That was the place that she hung her hat on all the time. Didn't matter about the master's. It was where she started at Community, because you know what? That was a place she wasn't sure how it was going to work. That was her entry in. So I'm sure you see a lot of people who are like that. You guys are overcoming some barriers.
Yes. So a lot of students that come to us, Bryant and Stratton is a private college in Chesterfield. I like how you put that, Chesterfield's College. We have a lot of adult students that come to us. We have students that come to us who are maybe working, may have families, and they want to go to school. So a lot of times their concern is, how am I going to prioritize this and make this fit in what I've got going on? And so a lot of times that meeting is really talking about plans of how to overcome the obstacles to get into school.
How long have you been here?
I first joined Bryant and Stratton in 2010, and I've been hanging around since then.
There you go. Alrighty. So let's talk about what it was like pre-pandemic as to what it's like now. And what are you guys doing now that when you looked up, you said before you were like, nah, we don't do that. And now you're looking up saying, hey, you know what? That thing kind of worked.
Yeah. When I came in 2010, we were really just kicking off our nursing program. We've had our learning curves like any other organization starting something new. Since then, we've realized that we're really good at it. Our registered nursing students and our practical nursing students, and even our medical assisting students, when they finish their program, they have to take a really important board exam to become licensed. Right now, when we educate those students so far for this year, we're halfway through the year. It's now July 1st. When those students take that exam, 100% of them have passed on their first attempt. National average is probably somewhere around 70, 80%. And so that's something that we have really become good at.
Why do you think you guys are knocking it out the park like that?
There's a very specific, I believe, and I worked for a few other colleges in my time, there's a very specific methodology, I think, to make sure that students who are in a program that's preparing them for licensure, that I think makes those students successful. And I think we do that well. And that's making sure that you teach them the in-class portion, which typically requires textbooks. If it's a nursing program, it's going to be anatomy, physiology, pharmacology, nursing fundamentals, all those things that are required typically in this case by the Virginia Board of Nursing. It says you're going to need this type of curriculum in order to receive this degree. But at the end, you're going to have to take this license exam that may not necessarily be what's in the textbook. And so we teach from a very specific place that allows the students to get that curriculum at the same time, prepares them for the information that is going to be on that board exam. And I think we do that well.
When you look at the students who are coming in, they're coming from all different parts of life, and they have different concerns and structures and all those things. You guys have to take that, and you made this a community. So Bryant and Stratton has been around a long time, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But now when I come in, I just know you guys as the nursing college, basically. So you said they're learning curves, but clearly you guys have learned and how to take that and make that, but you do other things as well.
Yes, that it's funny you say that. One of the things when I first came here, a lot nursing was just beginning, and it's grown, and so it's become partly because of the demand in the community, the demand across the country for healthcare. People want to live longer, they want to live healthier lives, and so healthcare is a huge concern and desire for people in today's world. And so because of that, the demand has grown. And so when we got in 10 years ago or longer, the demand has grown. And so we have programs like business and paralegal, and sometimes they get overshadowed by a lot of
the magnitude of how big it is with the nursing.
Yes, but those are programs that we've been doing that since the 1800s. And so we were primarily, when we first got started, we were known as a business college. And so we've got people like Henry Ford and the Rockefellers. Back when Bryant and Stratton was first getting started, that's where those entrepreneurs, those business folks came to get educated.
Really?
Yes.
Man, I didn't know that.
Yes, little known fact.
That's why I came here, to get educated. All right, so we're in the campus of Bryant and Stratton College. Mike King, we're here coming to you, talking to you about what's happening at the college and also the impact that it has on the community. So let's talk about the culture here.
Okay.
So a person comes in, an individual, I come in, you come in, we're just individuals. And then all of a sudden you start to see part of the Bryant and Stratton family. People become part of, I want to call it the crew.
Mhm.
And then you start to see how people make it in here and the impact that it has. So when you talked to Beth, you talked about people said that you guys changed their lives.
Mhm.
And you're saying, no, we just gave you the opportunity. You guys changed your life. But in reality, what you guys take and produce changes people's lives.
Mhm.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, as you see the progression, as the admissions person, you see people coming in.
Mhm.
You see them coming in. And then over the course of time, what's it like when you see the light bulb come on and they get it?
Yeah. I have a saying that I'd like to say I made it up a long time ago. I call it the law of familiarity. Whatever you're most familiar with becomes your law. If you have not been in school for a long time, that's your law. And so
For sure.
you're going to have to reprogram in making that a part of what you do in your daily life. And so it takes a really strong commitment to get back into school. And it takes a even bigger commitment to get to the end. And so when we talk to students, we talk to them about the commitment that it's going to take for them to be successful to the end. And so we don't just talk about, hey, this is the test, this is the requirement to get in, these are the steps you need to complete. We will
come on in, y'all can come on in.
We will spend talking to them about what that commitment looks like, what you're going to need to be successful, the life changes, the life commitments that you're going to need to make, so that you don't just get started with a program, you see it all the way to the end of graduation.
On the mic, we're here at Bryant and Stratton. So the way this program works, we may have folks stopping in. That's the magic of this talking about. There's a certain energy. What's it like, the energy working? Okay, so you went through the pandemic,
Mhm.
not a lot of people around. I know you guys are struggling, trying to make it through. What's it like that the students are back and the energy's back?
It's funny because, with the pandemic, a lot of businesses closed, a lot of businesses had to restructure. We're actually bigger than we were prior to the pandemic. And we have more students here. For me, it's for obvious reasons. Healthcare is growing. The demand for healthcare was still at its height during the pandemic. So
Of course, yes.
that was one of the areas or industries that maintained or had a demand and a more of a need for more individuals to work in that industry. So we've seen a lot of people come back. A lot of people, it raised the question within themselves of, do I want to get involved? And do I want to be a part of this change? And part of that required them to go back to school. So we've seen an influx of students. We've seen this resurgence of people who said, hey, you know what? I got laid off in this industry, but healthcare seems to be stable. That was the one place where I saw people, their Facebook said, hey, stay home so I can go to work. And so it taught people and it helped people to realize the value of healthcare and then the stability that it offers as far as a career.
All righty, so someone's sitting at home contemplating, what should I do? Whether it's grandma sitting there talking, thinking about what's it take to come here and be a student at Bryant and Stratton? Like, what's the procedures? What do I need to do?
The first step is pick up the phone, call someone. Hey there, pick up the phone, call someone and say, hey, you know what? I'm really interested in something that I want to do. Don't worry about, do I have all the answers? Do I have it all figured out? Whether it's the planning, whether it's, who's going to help with the family, who's going to watch the kids. If you have the desire, we'll help you walk through that. There's different ways to make this process get started. There's different ways to work through all of the nuances that are needed. If you try to look at them in totality, I like to say
it looks kind of big.
It looks big.
It looks big.
I like to say, I use the analogy of how to eat an elephant. I don't know if you've ever eaten an elephant. I haven't, but if I did, I'm told the best way to do it is one bite at a time.
You're taking little pieces. It's bite-sized because we can manage it.
Yes.
One of the things that we always talk about, and we came through the pandemic, was you guys are virtual. There's a mixture that you have virtual and then students on the campus as well. Let's talk about what you guys learned and the possibilities that can happen.
So during the pandemic, like most other organizations, we had to have some virtual component. As soon as we had the opportunity to get away from that, we got back on campus. We realized that we educate better on campus. We realized that our students, nursing is a hands-on program.
Yes.
A lot of the programs that we offer are hands-on. So students that want to get into the information technology, or they want to get into, they want to be a phlebotomist, or they want to work with patients, that's hands-on. And so we realized that was important for us, and it was important to our students' success that they were here on campus. So we quickly brought them back on campus. Once those students were on campus, that's our element, that was their element, that's where they thrived. And that's something that's important to us. And so we maintain that. It's a huge part of what we do, is that on-campus element where you get to see it, touch it, and be a part of it.
Well, Mike, how can people find Bryant and Stratton out there?
You can reach us. You can come to our campus. We're available here Monday through Friday. A lot of times people think when they're off work, we're off work. We're here in the evenings. So when you get off work, you typically can come in. We have staff that's here that will walk you through that process in the evening. We're also here on Saturdays. Typically, we take appointments all the way up until 1 o'clock on Saturdays.
Now, from a scheduling standpoint, do all of the classes start at the same time, or are they staggered and different programs start at different times?
The next semester that we have is going to be here in the fall, starting in September, the first part of September. So if you're interested in starting school, I'd say the first step is September. Seems like a ways away. There's some steps to get through the process. It's still someone interested still have the ability to get into school. If they reach out now, we could still get you through the process. The next semester wouldn't start until next year in January.
So you kind of go on a regular schedule, like a school schedule.
We're on a traditional semester system.
Okay.
So we have 3 semesters throughout the year. We like to focus on the one that's in front of us. So right now that's a September start. And then after September, the next semester will be January. And then we have a spring start, which starts in May.
And all of the classes, the programs go per semester. Okay.
Yeah, we do a semester system. Typically, it's a 15-week semester. The students that come to us, they're in class during that time. They have a break in between each semester, gives them a chance to kind of catch their breath and then regroup for that next semester.
All righty. So give us some new and exciting that people wouldn't know and be shocked about Bryant and Stratton. What you guys have? I heard you guys got the esports arena.
Yes.
Come on now.
Esports, it's a growing crave. I was not a big video person growing up.
No,
it wasn't my thing. My kids are.
I know, yeah.
My kids are. I think it's part of the age, but there are people who are our age. I don't know about you, but I'm in my early 20s.
Come on, man.
All right, no, maybe not.
I got a little bit more money. I'm in the early 30s.
Okay, early 30s.
Double.
Right, very good.
I got some miles on me.
Let's agree that.
We're going to leave that alone.
We'll leave that alone. But you have individuals who are a variety of different ages that are into esports. A lot of times when you think it's a younger generation,
yes,
or you just see this particular group. But it's a variety of different people that are in esports. Those who are looking to go to school or that are students who want to be involved in that. It's a great way to participate. We're starting off with a club program. So it's going to be an extracurricular activity they can participate in. But our goal is to grow that to it's going to be a competitive sport. Our other campuses, they're able to compete at a national level, and they've gotten recognition as some of the top ranking schools across the country.
So Bryant and Stratton, the other location, you have one down at Virginia Beach area.
Yeah, we've got 3 here in Virginia, the Richmond campus where we are. And then we also have our Hampton and our Virginia Beach campus as well.
Gotcha. Okay. So now I'm sitting at home and I'm thinking about this, and I know I may not have all that's needed to get to be admitted to Bryant and Stratton? What do I need to do? How can you guys help? Because, I wasn't that great in school, and it's been 1,000 years since I went, and a lot has changed. What do I need to do?
That's very interesting that you bring that up. I like to believe, and I tell students this, you are more than likely will be a better adult student than you were as a teenager. Most things that you did as teenagers, we did it poorly. I wasn't a good driver. I got into my accidents as a teenager. I got my speeding tickets as a teenager. I made a lot of my mistakes as a teenager, but the same kind of goes as an adult. You become more focused. You're not distracted by the things you're distracted as a teenager. You're more committed to your success as an adult. So most people, when they see, I wasn't that great of a student, I don't know that college is for me. I think that's true in some cases, but I think in a lot of cases, as an adult, we realize that we are much better students, and we'll typically see better results as adult students than we did as teenagers.
So in your career, what was the pull to education to help shape the next generation?
For myself specifically, I was a college student in the mid 90s. And I was fortunate. I went to a college in Indiana. I'm from Illinois. And I was always concerned that I went to a very well-recognized school. And I always was concerned that maybe they made a mistake and letting me get in there. And so
you looked around.
I was shocked that I should.
So wait a second, the admissions guy, you're the guy who, there's two kind of envelopes. Now, is this true or not? There's a thin one and there's a thick one. Now, come on, man, why is that true that if you get the thin one, sorry, come back next time? This is coming from the admissions guy.
It depends on the school. That might be the case for some schools. For Bryant and Stratton, that's not the case.
Everybody gets some love. That you'll be able to work.
Yeah, it's interesting. Every student, when they come to us, our goal is to find out what's the best direction for them. And so we don't just say, hey, give us your envelope, you're in or you're out. We will try to spend time. The very first visit that you come is really a dialogue about what your needs, goals, and values are. From those needs, goals, and values, that conversation, we develop a plan. Every student's going to have a different plan because every student's going to have different experiences. So we take those experiences, we couple them with that conversation, and we try to find out how do we align that with what their goals are and help them to get to what their end goal is.
On the Mike ESPN Richmond, that's where you find this part of the Mike King Biz Radio Network. We're coming to you from Bryant and Stratton. So now, when we think about the admissions process, the college process, there's the front part, which is how am I going to pay for this thing?
Sure.
There's that, and then you guys help there, but you also help on the back end with the placement.
Yes.
Now, see, both of those are important parts. Let's talk about, because as the parent, you're like, oh Lord, do you know this? That how are we going to pay for this thing?
Sure.
And the student is doing that as well. But then on the other end, when you finally finish, now it turns into, okay, I'm done now. Come on, world, I'm here.
Yeah. Financial is important. I mean, whether you're going to buy a car or you're going to buy a house, that's the first question most people have is how am I going to pay for this? We sit down with every single student. We share with them how they can pay for school. We have a financial aid team. That's one of the things that makes Bryant and Stratton unique. We will give the students an opportunity to have one-on-one. We have a very unique ethos that we go by called Career Life Prep. And it's essentially a roadmap that we use internally to make sure that each step of the way that the student touches and sees someone in each department to ensure that those major questions, how am I going to pay for it? How am I going to make the schedule work? Can I get admitted? And, am I going to find a job? That someone there along the way, even after they graduate, is going to be there to walk them, to be there with them and ensure that they get their questions answered and that they have a face and a phone number that they can pick up and call every step of the way.
One of my we're here at Bryant and Stratton. So you guys are real community minded.
Yes.
You guys have said, and it just came to me, you guys are Chesterfield's College. Let's talk about what that means and how people view you when they hear, oh wow, you're at Bryant and Stratton. Let's talk about what that means to the organization.
Yeah. So we're a small private college. Typically when you go by our classroom, you're going to see small, intimate settings. We have some classes that are a little bit bigger, but typically the majority of our classes, they're going to be small. They're going to be intimate. We know who you are. We know when you're not in class. And that's
so everybody on campus know what time it is.
Yes.
And that's one of so I went to Lincoln. I always joke, and my son went to Lincoln. My nephew went to Penn State. And it's kind of like, hey, you're here.
Yeah.
You get the money. You are number whatever you are.
Sure.
everybody on Lincoln's campus knows you're not going to class.
Yeah.
So everybody at Bryant and Stratton is in on making you successful because you are part of the family.
Yeah. You know, one of the things I will say, our campus president, campus director, Beth Murphy, she has a saying, you make the difference. And when you kind of walk in, it's plastered on some of our walls. And a lot of times you'll see it and the students will assume, you know, that's for them. But as associates, we also realize that that's for us, that we make the difference in their lives. A lot of times the students will say, hey, you guys, if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't have gotten here. But we like to believe that we're really just the vehicle that gets them to where their goals are. And it's them that do the driving. It's them that do the hard work. It's the student that does everything that's needed to get them to that graduation point. And so it's a community of their commitment and our willingness to support them that I think allows those students to be successful.
So prior to coming in, like I said, I lived in a college town. I always say to people, going to college is fun.
Yeah.
Living in a college town, and I stopped and people are like, oh, it's probably dreadful. No, I loved it every bit, because one of the things is people who are students, younger people believe the world can still be a better place.
Sure.
And you get that in a place like Bryant and Stratton, because all of a sudden people are looking forward to the future. They're looking to see what else is out there. Let's talk about like a culture of an organization like this, and what's it feel like for the admin folks, and then how do you try and portray and put that onto so that the students get the feel of the culture?
Yeah. You know, last week we just had our graduation.
I saw everybody,
Yeah, and I typically when we talk about graduation, the work that goes into it, sometimes it can be overwhelming. But once that day comes, I mean, we're excited. Everyone's smiling. It's kind of like building a house. If you've ever seen a house being built, it's, you know, the hardest part is when you got to clear the trees and you've got to do all of the site prep before that house gets built. But when you get to finally get the keys and you get to go in, it's an exciting time.
All right, so one second. Hello, ladies. Hi. So that you can't walk, you just can't walk in like the no. Come on. So the name of the program is On the Mic. Mike. We're here. This is ESPN Radio. Why don't you come on around and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do here? But you're good. You want to come on? Oh, all right. Well, thank you. Thank you. All right. So here, come. You can come around this side. So my name's Mike King. The name of the program is ESPN. No, that's the station. The name of the program is called On the Mic with Mike. So who are you and what do you do?
So I'm Lakita Washington. I'm in my last semester here. So I'll be coming out in, we got 6 weeks? 6 weeks?
6
and I'm
weeks.
done.
You're done.
I'm
Okay,
done.
what are you studying?
The nursing program, RN.
So were you always the caretaker of the family? Was that always a draw for you?
I kind of like got that role by default, I would say. So yeah.
By default. What's it like being here? And so we like I said, we got the admissions director, and I asked them, like, what do people look like when they come in? And then as they see, they start to feel and be part of the family. See, I saw you sneak in before. You thought you were just going to sneak in and get away with it. It does not work like that. So let everybody know we're going to be here every Friday, and we're going to be talking about what goes on at Bryant and Stratton. So what's up? What makes this place so special?
It works for, like me, I have 2 children. You know, so I'm a working mother. A lot of schools don't offer the flexibility in the scheduling for school and the clinicals. So that works for me. That was my main thing. And then looking at their passing rates, I kind of did some background research
Oh,
on
you
the
checked them
schools.
out?
I
You
did.
checked them.
I did.
And
You wanna know those
they
things.
said their numbers, they say everybody who goes takes the test, rocks it.
I mean, if you pass this program,
Oh, they roll like that?
that's how this program
Okay.
is. Yeah.
So like, there you go. Well, thank you for coming in. Good luck to you. So you're down to 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
When you started, how far away did it seem at graduation?
Oh gosh. We still look now like I can't believe we at the end. We
Look,
got
all right, so
6
let's
weeks.
talk about your crew. Now you got your partner over there. She's hiding at the door. So let's talk a little bit about. Come on in. Come on in. We're just talking. So we're just talking. So what was it like when you guys become part of a team? You came in here as a single mom. You were just talking about your kids. You come into the program, and all of a sudden you find other people. What's it like when you guys have your own thing going on?
Oh, it's nice because we can all relate. I mean, we started with some that's not beside us anymore, right? So
Oh, you did the look to the left, look to the
getting
right?
to the end to see who's still surviving. Yeah,
Look
we
who's
stick
still standing.
together.
That's it. Well, congratulations. So you'll see us here. Come on, make sure you stop back every so
Okay.
often. Tell us how you doing.
Now I know y'all gonna be in here.
You know, we'll be, if not, we gonna come looking, we coming looking for people. That's what we're doing. So on the mic with Mike, ESPN Richmond, that's who we are. We are the best business radio program around. That's what you can expect, what we're gonna do here when we come to Bryant and Stratton. That's a straight up testimony.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you said.
Yep, that's exciting. It's exciting to hear their stories. That's the reward for us as associates.
I bet it is.
When you get to see their stories. Everyone walks in the door, they've got their story. I mean, you have a story, I have a
Everybody got a
story.
story.
Everybody's got a story. But to be a part of every single student that comes in that door, their stories, and when you get to see it, the culmination at the end, it's very rewarding.
All righty, on the mic, Mike, how can people find you out there, sir?
Say it again.
How can people find you?
You can reach us at 804-745-2444. That gets you to our admissions office. Let them know that you heard us on the radio and you'd love some more information, and we'll be glad to help you out and invite you in to visit the campus.
That's what we're gonna do, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna be here every Friday, bringing this to you, making sure you get an understanding of what. So they even go rolled out and they gave me a shirt. It's like, yo, I like it. There you go. So wait a minute, let me see. It's the Bobcats. There you go. Hey, we got the size from it. Cover up all these muscles.
There you go.
Oh, I ain't saying no more, man. On the mic with Mike, we gotta run always, as I always say, the microphone ain't free. So make sure you take a listen to our sponsors and advertisers. I always say the microphone ain't free, plus my grandkids need stuff. So we'll be back next week. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks now. Take care.